Everybody ready? Yep. Yep. Okay.
All right. First off, good evening. Thanks everybody for coming out today. My name is Captain Rob Maynard. I'm Captain of Community Relations, spelling R-O-B, last name M-A-Y-N-A-R-D. Joining me today is Chief of Police Michael Candiano. That's going to be C-A-N-D-I-A-N-O. And Fire Chief Chris Crail, C-R-A-I-L. So if anybody, we got a brief statement. We'll take a few questions if you have any for us. But the gist of it is this afternoon the city of Portage experienced probably the most severe weather event that any of us here can remember. I've been a resident of this city for 50 years, and I think this is probably one of the worst things that we've ever had to go through. I've been a police officer for 27 of those years, and certainly in my time working for the city, we have not had a disaster of this size before. Sadly, due to the storm, there was a related house fire around 12:20 p.m. Shortly after the storm passed through. Fire crews and police officers received a report of what is suspected to have been a house explosion. First responders arrived to find a home fully involved. The response for them was delayed, unfortunately, by the road conditions. Numerous trees, wires down all across the city. Most of the major roadways are impassable. We leaned very heavily upon our streets and sanitation department to help out. They were bringing out heavy equipment, trying, feverishly to get those fire responders to that scene to assist as needed. At some point, they do arrive on scene, and the blaze is taken under control. And at this point, we do believe that there was one fatality that has occurred at that location. Unfortunately, we don't have further information on any identification of that person just yet. The fire department is working with the State Fire Investigators Office to determine the cause. Obviously, we think that the storm played a role in this tragedy today, but we won't have a confirmation for that for probably a couple of days, if not longer, depending on what the investigation uncovers. Beyond that, there were several minor injuries reported across the city. Once again, with falling trees, we had a few cars get crushed, but thankfully those people sustained minor injuries, nothing else serious. And in this phase of the operation, our focus has been just upon getting those roadways back open, getting access for those first responders to get where we needed, where they are needed. And at this point, we feel like we've got a pretty good handle on that. I think all the major roadways are back open. Some side streets we're still working on. So we're sort of moving into that stage of the operation. We're going to start assessing the type of damage that we have. Obviously, we have power out throughout the city. I think NIPSCO is reporting something around 15,000 residents are currently without power. I haven't looked at that in a little bit, though, so that number may have changed. A couple gas leaks is related to the storms. Unfortunately, when these large trees come down, they do disrupt the underground piping, which can cause some problems with the meters in the homes or just exteriorly. So there are several gas leaks in the city, but NIPSCO is working diligently towards bringing those back under control at this point in time. Speaking of the assessment of the damage to the city, like I said, that part of the operation is just getting underway. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security has activated a web portal for residents. It's Indiana 211. So if you want to go to the Indiana Department of Homeland Security homepage, on there you'll find a link it'll be 211. And we're asking everybody as they're able to submit a report to that. That will help us understand the severity of the reclamation of the city that needs to be done and what type of resources we're going to need to pull in from a state level or possibly even a federal level. Like I said, our mayor has declared a state of emergency for the city to get those state level and possibly federal level resources in motion. Getting a good handle on what type of damage we're looking at is going to be critical to a successful resolution there. The only other thing I have to add currently is that we do have 2 shelters open and operating within the city right now. So if your home is not safe for you to stay at, you may travel to the Bonner Senior Center. That's located at 5800 Lexington Avenue, and the Northwest Health Building located at 3630 Willow Creek Road. Those are both open. Should your home not be structurally sound and you need a place to seek temporary shelter. I think at this point, I think that's all we had, so if anybody has any questions for us, we can probably field a few of those.
This might be better for the fire chief, but can you describe the response and the immediate, when we got the call, what it was like getting to the scene of this fire with everything else that was littering the streets, all the other chaos going on?
Yeah, so that's a great question. As you can imagine, when this call came in, everything was breaking free. So what we had to do at that point was try to find the best route to get there. We had assistance from the police department, assistance from the street department, trying to get any way possible that we could get there. It was quite delayed for us to be able to get there because of the amount of trees and power lines that were down. When the crews did get there, they went to work immediately, but it was quite delayed for us to be able to get there simply because of the magnitude of the storm.
Can we get your name?
My name is Chris Crail, C-R-A-I-L.
Fire chief, I'm not sure if this is for you or for the police chief, but are we calling this fire an explosion as well, or is that still under investigation?
So it's definitely under investigation at this time. Like Captain Maynard said, we are working with the State Fire Marshal's office to determine the cause of the incident, but looking at the photos, it's hard to say that it wasn't an explosion. What caused that, we're not sure. But again, the investigation is going to ultimately determine all of that.
What's the situation with public services from tomorrow on? I mean, have kids return to classes here?
Can you go back up there? You got that?
Libraries?
Yeah, school's been canceled for tomorrow. I think tomorrow was supposed to be the first day. Obviously, the city's really not in a condition for that to happen. Just jumping back to what Fire Chief said, so when the call of the house fire came out, obviously we had as many people responding as could, and the amount of calls in the city at that time were off the charts for us. It seemed that every road had a tree down, every way. There were several officers actually parked about a mile away and ran on foot through neighborhoods trying to get to the home. Like I said, I think we put out something that we haven't experienced before, that many trees down, blocking so many of our roads. So we were trying to coordinate with fire to find them a path. We had citizens out that were trying to help move trees out of the way and things for us, but yeah, it was severely limited on the ability to get anywhere in the city for probably a good 2 or 3 hours. So.
Have you heard anything from NIPSCO about when services can be restored?
We've been in contact with them. We're advising them of the certain areas that are, everything's a priority, but the ones that obviously we need to get trees off of power lines and things like that so we can get emergency services through. We've been in contact with them. They're working for us, but I wouldn't be able to give you any timeline. The amount of destruction that's still out there from trees down and power lines down it's a lot. So I would imagine it's going to be a while, unfortunately, which is why we kind of started taking the steps of having some shelters open and some things for some resources for people. So.
Any advice to people that need gas at this point? Because gas stations are closed.
So my understanding is that the further south you go, you'll start hitting some gas stations that are open. I believe Valparaiso, I had heard the south end of Valpo was open, and I believe if you head east towards Michigan City area, we're under the understanding that there's some gas stations open there, because that was something that we've actually also been struggling with for our own emergency vehicles. So actually we partnered with Portage Township Schools to have access to their fuel pumps today, which was awesome, because we had a lot of patrol cars that have been out running a lot of runs today that were struggling for gas. So.
What's the status of emergency services right now? Are there still delays that are being felt because of the debris that's on the road?
Yeah, I think we can pretty much get to most places at this point. So our primary goal once we got into this was working with streets and sanitation and getting roads open, especially the main thoroughfares, because that was the biggest problem was, your main roads, we couldn't even get to the smaller roads. So, I mean, what are we, 7 hours post-storm now, so we've got a lot of those that are open. A lot of our smaller streets are still completely down, power lines still down. We'll get there one way or another. We've got some bigger emergency vehicles and things. We'll be able to get in there, but I would ask for the residents and people driving through the city, if you don't need to be out, please stay home. That was a major problem we had earlier today. We couldn't get around town, it was a gridlock. So emergency vehicles couldn't get to where they needed to be. NIPSCO couldn't get where they needed to be because there were so many people out. And I understand you're out of power, you want to see what's going on in the city, but being out is hampering us. We're responding to traffic crashes now because the traffic lights are out. So those are the kind of things that we really don't need to be dealing with right now. We should be dealing with the major emergencies of getting to checking on people and things, and unfortunately we're dealing with just the congestion of people out in the city. So if you don't need to be out, please stay home so that we can get around and do our job.
Chief, we were speaking to some neighbors earlier who are concerned that because there's another round of storms headed this way. Can you talk to us about sort of plans going forward, how we can, or what neighbors need to know, and what you guys will be doing to try to help? I know we can't anticipate.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild summer now, right? I mean, for this whole region, you know, we've missed the brunt of some of these, but we've had a little bit of some, so it feels like we're just stuck in the cycle of having to respond to these. So I'm obviously not a weather person. I'm hoping that whatever they're saying is false and we have a beautiful day tomorrow. There isn't really much we can do other than try to make sure that we continue to work through the night to get the roads open so that we can get to places. Hopefully that'll allow NIPSCO to get power back on. I mean, we're going to be here all night working, obviously. If there's an emergency, we'll be out, but yeah, it would be tough if we got another round, you know, because what the cleanup that we've done, to have more on top of that is gonna be tough, but we'll figure it out.
Any first responders injured in any response?
Not that I'm aware of. Anything from the fire side? No, I think we were pretty fortunate. You know, we had officers out in the cars responding to it while it was going on, and you know, after just anecdotally talking to some of the officers, it was, you know, pretty hairy to be out inside a vehicle and feeling just that sheer wind coming through. Myself included, I was out, and it's, you know, nothing that I've experienced being in a car. So, but as of now, I haven't gotten any reports of any of our officers being injured.
I know that there were delays because of obviously the weather and the downed trees, that type of stuff in that response. But did residents add to that delay, just congested roads? Like, was that also something you guys were having to deal with, just gridlocked traffic on top of closed roads?
Yeah, I would say that is definitely for both us, and fire. Just the amount of traffic that was out. It seemed like it was busier than a Saturday afternoon. There were just people everywhere, and it made it difficult to get around. But you know, we got where we needed to be. And the people that were traveling were encountering the same things that we were. They were turning down roads that were blocked, and so the areas that you could get to were more congested because everybody was just funneling into those areas, unfortunately. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.